Hey there, do you like backpacking gear? Because if you do, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to be going through my full ultralight backpacking gear setup from a recent trip that I went on. I hiked the Loadout Trail on the island of Kauai in Hawaii, United States. That place is, whew. It's been a while since I've done a full gear list video. Some of my gear is the same that I've had in previous videos, and some of it is new. I also hiked this trail with my girlfriend, and so there's a couple items that I wouldn't normally bring if I was just solo backpacking, but I did bring because we were hiking as a couple, so it is a little bit different. First things first, we gotta smack the backpack a couple times. You all know how that works. Every single gear video ever, you gotta give it a couple good smacks. And I should also talk about the conditions that we faced on this trail, the conditions that we had to pack for. Hawaii is a warm place. So the temperatures that we faced were in the 80s to 90s during the day. And honestly, I don't think it dipped below 65 degrees at night. The conditions are very rainy, so we had to pack for that. And as you could tell from the tips of my trekking poles here, it was also very muddy. There will be a video of the actual hike coming out soon. It's also going to incorporate some mysteries that happened on the trail, some people that disappeared on the trail, because the Loadout Trail is kind of infamous. It's honestly kind of dangerous. It's one of the sketchier trails that I've done. But with that said, hit the subscribe button, help me get to 150,000 subscribers. I'm getting close, and let's jump into it. The first piece of gear I'm gonna talk about is this freaking backpack, dude. Those of you that have been following the channel might be surprised to see that this is not my usual ULA CDT backpack. This right here is the Alien Outdoor Gear custom 40-liter backpack. I still love ULA, I still love my CDT, but honestly, after using it on the PCT last year, it's just destroyed, and so I've had this pack for a little while because Brandon, who runs Alien Outdoor Gear, sent it to me like over a year ago, and I wanted an opportunity to check it out since my ULA pack is destroyed. And honestly, I gotta say, it's a great pack. It's got the old pocket down here, which I wasn't really too keen on when I first got the pack, but actually it is pretty nice. It's got the old mesh stretchy pocket, which I specifically requested because the ULA CDT also has this, and I love it. The shoulder straps are really nice. They're super thick. I don't know if you guys can tell here, but these shoulder straps are like really thick, really comfortable. Same with the hip belts. It was a great pack, and it definitely served the purpose for a short 2-night trip, which this was. For a longer trip, I probably would want a bigger backpack, slightly bigger backpack like the ULA CDT, but this was great. Digging into the outer pocket here, the first thing we got is some sunscreen. Do I look sunburned? Definitely got a lot of sun and a lot of rain, as you're gonna see. So this was essential. Next up, we got just some bug spray. Definitely were some skeeters and other little things out there, so we just bought some bug spray when we landed in Kauai. Next, the Frogg Toggs rain jacket. Once again, this part of Hawaii is very, very warm, and so really the only jacket that I needed was the Frogg Toggs rain jackets, and boy did I need it because it rained a lot. I've been using these jackets forever. They're super cheap, they're super light, and by the way, I will have a link to every single piece of gear in this video right in the description, so if you want to check out any of this gear for yourself, which honestly, this one, I know it doesn't look very impressive right now, but if you're looking for a rain jacket that's lightweight and will not break the bank at all, and you can buy it at Walmart too if you don't want to get it online, the Frogg Toggs are definitely the way to go. Do I have anything else in here? Of course I do. Next up, we got just a little Sawyer bag just for some extra water storage. And then we got spork, same spork I've had forever. Not even gonna talk about that. This is actually a new piece of gear right here though. Tent stakes, dude. The most exciting thing, I could do a whole video just on tent stakes. That's not true. That would be boring as shit. I decided to try out the MSR Groundhog Mini Stakes. I feel like these have somewhat of a mixed reputation because they are they're mini. For this trip, we set up our tent in like some sand. It wasn't directly on the beach, but it was kind of sandy. And these probably weren't the best stakes. I did have to reinforce them with rocks because the tent blew over one time. I feel like that it actually, stupid of me. I feel like that wouldn't have happened if I had some bigger stakes. So I am excited to use these on some more stable ground, but for this hike in particular, if you're gonna be setting your tent up where the ground is pretty loose, these might not be the best stakes, and you're definitely gonna wanna reinforce the stakes with rocks. That's everything for the outside of the pack. Real quick, we'll just talk about my trekking poles. These puppies right here are the Cascade Mountain Tech trekking poles. Same ones I used on the PCT. Well, they're a new pair, but like the same, brand and model. I like them because they're pretty lightweight and they're also very affordable. They're pretty comfortable. They're not like the best trekking poles in the world, I would say, but if you're looking for a good like budget pair, I would definitely recommend these. One more time, link in the description. And then also a new piece of gear on the top right here, I have this. This is the Gossamer Gear 1/8 inch foam pad. And no, I was not using this for my sleeping pad, as you're gonna find out, because I'm not a freaking ultralight psycho. No, I'm just playing. I honestly respect the people that use this as a sleeping pad because they save so much weight, but I need something more than that. I brought this because I knew that we were gonna be chilling on the beach a little bit. Call Out Trail ends at one of the most beautiful beaches you will ever see in your life. We planned on spending at least half a day just kind of chilling there. And so I didn't want to bring like towels, to be honest, like a normal beach person would, but I did want to bring something that we could like sit on and lay on and stuff. Now to actually open up the backpack, let's see what we got. Of course, the first thing is my food bag, which I've had forever. Hilltop Packs sent this to me like 3 years ago now. It's disgusting. I took it on the PCT. I need a new food bag. If anyone has a recommendation for a new food bag, hit me up because I don't really want another one with my face on it because it's really awkward. Next, we get into the dry portion of the backpack, and if you're gonna hike the Call Out Trail, you better keep your stuff dry, dude, because it rains. We got poured on. First thing, my pot, my MSR Titan kettle, the only piece of gear that I've had literally since the day I started backpacking when I was 16. I've talked about this all the time. You've seen it in every video. I'm not gonna talk about that. I mean, it's a good pot. If you're new, I guess I shouldn't just brush over it. Check it out. It's a good pot, very light. Next, we got the ditty bag. So let's see what we got going on in here. This is just my random bag of random little things that don't just fit in the overall bigger backpack. So the first thing is my pillow. This is the Summit Aeros Ultralight regular pillow. I bought this in the desert on my PCT hike. It's super lightweight, and I'm surprised I haven't popped it yet. Like, pretty freaking good. I stand by this pillow. I respect this pillow. I love this pillow. Next up, we have the grossest piece of gear. Every time I talk about this headlamp, I feel the need to update you guys on how disgusting it is. The Nitecore NU25 headlamp in white. Don't get it in white, get it in black, because it will look like this if you use it for a couple years like I have. But it is a great headlamp, so of course I brought it. Next up, we got just a little first aid kit with some antibiotic ointment, a few band-aids. I think I have some ibuprofen in here somewhere too, and some Tums. We got some my drugs right here. Those are the drugs. My stove, the same one I've been using forever, the old BRS Ultralight Amazon cheap ass stove. If you need a cheap ass stove, this is what you need. Toothbrush, loose. I didn't pack it in a bag or anything. It was just loose in here. It's kind of gross. And of course, you know, I cut the handle off. Got some extra KT tape for blisters or chafing or just anything that I need to do on my skin. Patch kit for my sleeping pad, which I somehow have never had to use yet. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Mosquito head net. Almost needed to use this a few times, but didn't. But I mean, it weighs nothing. So I feel naked if I go into the woods without a mosquito head net. Bic lighter for all the crack we were smoking. And of course, a extra bottle cap. Always have an extra bottle cap. And speaking of bottles, I should also say the bottle that I used was the usual ultralight douchebag smart water bottles. And of course, my trusty Sawyer squeeze. Screwed that right on the top of this sucker. This was my go-to water system, has been for years, will be for years to come. All right, are you ready for a surprise, a new piece of gear? It probably won't surprise a lot of you, but it is new. My new tent. It's not very impressive like this, but this is the Z-Packs Duplex. You ever heard of it? If you've ever gone backpacking, I'm pretty sure you have. Two-person tent. Z-Packs sent this to me, to be totally clear. They also paid me $17 million to talk about how much I love it. So now that that's out of the way, I love this tent. I'm just kidding. They sent it to me and they said, do what you want with it and just give your honest opinion. And so I only used it for a couple nights. So I'm not gonna stand here and tell you definitively that this is an amazing tent. I really do need to use it more, but I will say it worked pretty damn well. It did blow over that one time. But again, I think that was probably my fault for using crappy tent stakes. It also just wasn't a great campsite selection. And that's also gonna happen every now and then, no matter what trekking pole tent you're using. But honestly, it was pretty sweet. It's super roomy for two people. I mean, the reason I have it, again, is because I was hiking with my girlfriend. It rained a little bit and we stayed dry. Z-Packs, thanks for the $17 million. And I will definitely tell everybody how great this tent is. I do like this tent. It's a good tent. Link in the description, dude. Next up, we just got a couple of little clothing items. One great thing about this trail was just, it's so warm, which actually kind of sucked when I was hiking because I was really sweaty. But in terms of bringing clothing, you don't have to. And so really the only extra clothing I brought was an extra pair of socks. I brought my sun hoodie to sleep in, not even to hike in. I just hiked in a t-shirt, but I wanted something to wear at camp and to sleep that had long sleeves, but I didn't really need like a full down down jacket like I usually bring, or a thermal layer for my upper body. So it was nice not having to pack that stuff, and so I just packed this as kind of like a compromise. It's lighter weight, but also is a little bit warmer than just bringing another t-shirt. And then I also just brought my typical Patagonia Capaline bottom layers that I've had for years now. I didn't bring any pants. I just brought these. I don't even think I wore them, to be honest, because it was really hot at nights, but I had them just as something to wear that was clean on my legs during camp. And then, you know it, you love it, maybe you don't, maybe you hate it. The Hammock Gear Econ 30-degree quilt. This particular one right here is one that I bought when I was on the PCT last year. I did have the same quilt, an older version of it before that, and I loved that one so much that I just bought the same quilt again. I did get a different color though. This one's black, my other one was green. This was way too warm, to be honest, for the temperatures that I was facing. I really think a 40-degree quilt would have been ideal, but I don't own one of those. I know I'm this fancy YouTuber, I get all this free gear, which actually this, I bought this. I bought a lot of this, except for the backpack and the tent. I get all this free gear, but I only own one quilt. And this is it. It's 30 degrees, which is a pretty good temperature rating. That's gonna, you know, be okay for a wide variety of temperatures. But in a perfect world, I would have had a 40-degree quilt. Real quick, before I get into the last piece of gear inside the backpack, I do want to say that I forgot to mention the Garmin InReach. I talked about this a few videos ago, but after making all these videos about missing hikers and hikers that have died and could have been rescued, if they had one of these, of course I had to buy one. It was too late, but at least better late than never. It was awesome. I was able to send update texts to my parents, let them know that we were okay because there's no cell service on the call out trail. I was also able to use it to get some weather reports, which was interesting. So definitely get yourself a Garmin InReach or any satellite GPS device that has an SOS button if you're going to be backpacking anywhere in the world. I don't care. My opinion has really evolved on this recently. I think everybody should be hiking with one of these, no exceptions. Go grab one. And then the last thing inside my backpack is my sleeping pad, which I've had forever. Can you guys see how freaking gross this thing is? I cannot believe that this has not popped yet. It's honestly a miracle. I used it for the entirety of my PCT hike. I bought it in 2020, and so I've really used it for every hike that I've gone on since 2020, and it has never popped somehow. I've not had to patch it. I've not had to replace it. I've never washed it. I'm not particularly careful with it, and I always fold it and use it as the frame to my backpack, so it's not even like it's tucked away somewhere safe inside my backpack. They don't even make this version of it anymore. It's gonna pop eventually. So leave a comment and let me know when you think this thing is finally gonna pop. And also, if you appreciate the content that I'm making on here, please go to patreon.com/KyleHatesHiking. That is the best way to support my channel. You're basically buying me a beer every month. This video is brought to you by everybody who's already on there. Thank you so much to all my Patreon supporters. I'm getting up there. There's a lot of you now. My goal is 150 Patreon members, so if you want to help me get there, please check out the Patreon. I would appreciate that. And of course, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.